Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic, Brutalism Re-Bruted. I am a big fan of German expressionism. It is angular and scary, and it makes for great movies and dramatic storytelling on a live stage. In the 1950s and 70s, brutalism in architecture grew out of the 1920s German expressionistic movement as a rebellion against the tight, shiny lines of the modernist movement. The brutalist ideal was first popularized by renowned French architect Le Corbusier, and the brutalist meme was formed out of the French word for raw, or, as Le Corbusier was fond of calling his favorite building material, béton brut, raw concrete. Yes, those ugly, massive hulks of buildings that look like they're made out of giant mounds of raw concrete are, by design, intended to look just that ugly, prison-like, windowless, industrial, bomb sheltering, institutional buildings poured, not designed or built really to intimidate a skyline and scowl over a city. Is it any perversion that so many government buildings, university buildings, and shopping malls and public housing buildings were built in the style of brutalism? If the brute fits, live and work in it. If you've ever seen a modern prison, you're looking at a flashback to brutalism. So what does brutalism in architecture tell us about the relationship between the city and its people? Do we see how a big, rectangular blob of concrete can disassemble the spirit of the people? What was the reasoning behind the brutalism movement? What was the intention of the design, other than to punish both eye and mind of soul? The brutalist movement was a harsh confrontation with a false path. The lightness of design in the 1930s and 40s gave way to a crushing world war, and the city became the hopelessness of the people. Every brutalistic building was a bunker. We lived in the buildings in order to hide. We felt protected and safe by the comfortable ugliness of unfinished concrete and brick, and we grew comfortable in the loping determinalization of it all. Today, in architecture, brutalism as an art form is pretty much dead, and the term has now become colloquialized to mean big, unpopular, unfriendly, no matter what the building really looks like. So now we understand brutalism in architecture, and we can apply those design ideals, punishments, to other parts of our modern lives beyond housing and governmental interventionism. Have we seen a trend toward brutalism in our politics? Are we about love and support and getting along? Or are we more about punishing each other and separating? Are we marches in the streets, or are we guns in the slaughterhouse? Do we love our children, or do we throw them away in the wind? Have our modern lives moved beyond generational differentialism and moved sharply into despair, and abuse and hopelessness and the unmovable mound. The brick wall that will forever keep us from our dreams while boxing in all of our hatreds. There was a time when popular music was lilting and melodic and was designed to raise the soul. Today, mainstream music has changed. We are no longer soothed by the hits of our day. We are instead damaged by the violence and the speaking instead of rhyming. The lyric doesn't matter. Only the anger is valued. The mechanistic beatbox has replaced the heart-strung melody. We don't hum our music any longer. We shout along with it. We don't have classics that are transformed into elevator music. We only have beats and rhythms meant to throw us off the roof and cover the sound we make when we land. Even our movie-going has changed, where we look to the sky and the comic books of our childhoods falsely rescue us from tyrannical aliens. We give over our hopes and dreams to superheroes and machines and flying spaceship things because the ordinary dullness of our regular lives has suffocated us on the ground and buried us in the grave, with a boxy concrete headstone standing over us like a sentry, waiting to tip over and crush us in a single felling. Our faith has turned against us and become eternal damnation. We cannot do anything right now to save us from the forever pit of hoariness and the prickly punishment. Even our modern art has moved from pencil and chalk and paint and watercolor into digitalization. We crave virtual things that brutalize every sense of the everlasting and the unique. We can copy and paste and cut on a whim without any effort or forethought. There is no traceable history of what was in our steps of creation. There is no clear chain of thought or provenance because everything ordinary is new again. And history has no meaning in a parallel world where one creation is just as fresh as another. There's no decay allowed, no retro-thinking permitted. We are now, and the future, and we are designed to be disposable and freakish in our inability to contemplate the ruins we left behind. We may have rejected brutalism as an appropriate service and design style for the places that house and protect us. But brutalism has taken over every other part of our lives. From faith to aesthetics to sports and politics and education and craft. There is no escape from the windowless mound of concrete that have encapsulated us, daring us to escape, warning us against the impending, the inevitable doom of a nuclear winter. And so we shudder and huddle together, alone in lightness, rooms where we are protected and purged of any notion of living in beauty and sunshine and designed opportunity. Because the oppression of the people is important in keeping anarchy and alabaster dreams in stasis, alive without living. in order to form a more perfect union of control and contrast in an aging age, and neither permits nor encourages quick thinking and veracity in the public heart. Because to allow any hope to seep in between the crevices where the light finds us in splinters is to split the power of the oppressor, and to finalize the fall of the Union, all into disrepair and rubble that cannot be overbuilt or overcome, but shall always be impenetrable and daunting to any challenger beyond the concrete box, who dares to take a chisel against a facade that only chips without cracking. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.